Hi everyone, how are you? I hope everyone is keeping well wherever you are.
All of us have been touched by a sudden and big change in our life's rhythm and in our lifestyle. A lot of us were confined to our own homes for 2 months with limited interactions. I remember talking to some people, both young and old, that the closure or lockdown is beginning to stress them out. We miss the freedom to do our normal activities. I think each one of us tried to find our own ways to cope with the new normal. Now that our cities, regions, and states are beginning to open up, the normal life as we knew it is surely changing. In order to enter into this new phase in our lives in a gradual and proactive way, I invite you to take time to write down and express what you feel at the moment. What are you excited about? What do you worry about? Do you have questions or doubts? Write down 2 or 3 lessons you've learned during the time of your home confinement.
This whole experience of the COVID-19 pandemic is not some random situation. It touches the world and it touches our lives. Whether it makes our life better or worse depends on how we respond to the situation. We can only respond in a positive or proactive way if we read and unlock this situation with the eyes of faith, not a neutral or generic or wishful faith. We need the Christian faith. One of the characteristics of our Salesian youth spirituality, which you and I live, and this is our own way of living the Christian faith, is that we acknowledge God's presence in our everyday life.
Now, since I believe that God is present, I can ask myself some questions. Why did God allow this whole COVID situation? What good has come out of this situation? What problems has it generated? How can I, as a young person, give my own contribution as we move forward? Pope Francis, in the Apostolic Exhortation Christus Vivit, gives us a certainty. He says, Christ is alive, and He wants you to be alive. Jesus is risen, and He wants to make us sharers in the new life of the resurrection. So we approach the whole situation not with feelings of defeat, but of hope. Of course, this doesn't mean that we don't realistically face the difficulties and the negative feelings. Rather, as we face them, we don't let them define us.
Our Christian faith is founded on Christ's resurrection. This is what inspires us to act proactively, to give our own concrete contributions, no matter how small they may be. We believe that we are part of and are weaving history. We learn from those who have gone ahead of us, and we hope that with our good choices, we have a better world for the future generations. Our Christian faith is personal, but it is not individualistic. It acknowledges that we are part of history. It acknowledges that we are part of a community.
The community dimension is a strong characteristic of our spirituality. Many of you belong to groups with other young people who share your same faith and values. They are your support as you grapple with the questions and mysteries of life as you face them at different stages of your life. We need friends and groups to support us. But we are also called to go out of our small groups and establish other connections. Pope Francis always says, go out to the peripheries, to those outside your circle of friends. Go and engage in dialogue with others. and try to see the world from their own perspective. You don't have to agree with them. Rather, you listen with empathy. You are not there to convert them. You are there to share your presence, your attention, your sincere desire to reach out. And we will see that in reality, there are a lot of things common to all of us. This is what witnessing is all about. You are Christ's hands, feet, and heart as he tries to reach out to other young people.
So, though you need a strong support group who shares your same faith, values, and journey of growth, be open to others. Since we are celebrating the Laudato Si week, we are reminded that we are all interconnected, humanity and the rest of creation. We are responsible for each other. Let our lives be inspired by the gospel.
I would like to focus on three characteristics of this style of life. First, simplicity. Second, community. Third, citizenship. Dear friends, let us simplify our lives by being content with the essentials. Look at all your things. You remember the time when they seemed so important and absolutely necessary? Do you still feel the same way now? It will be helpful to be guided by these three simple criteria: reduce, reuse, recycle. Second, we are all interconnected. We are connected to each other, to God, to our deeper selves, to the whole creation. When one of these links is cut off, something is missing, and there are consequences. We see this in the effects of climate change, like global warming, desertification, war, poverty, hunger, and violation of human rights. Let us be open to work with others. Be open to others' perspectives and proposals. Let us consider ourselves community. Let us all feel responsible not only for ourselves but also for the future generations. And lastly, let us express our citizenship concretely. We are citizens of our states, of course, but we are also citizens of the world. We are responsible for our brothers and sisters on the other side of the world. What happens in the faraway Amazon forest is something that concerns us. The non-stop civil wars and violence in Africa, the exploitation and abuse of children and women in Asia, they are sufferings of our brothers and sisters. The comfortable life we live is often at the cost of life and survival of others, of people who are close to us and far away. I invite you to be informed, be interested about economics, politics, and human rights. Engage in concrete and regular volunteering and make it one of your priorities. This is how we express our citizenship. Someone once wisely said that the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. Happy Feast of Merry Help of Christians. Don Bosco always said that everything he did, he owed to Mary. Mary is one of the best gifts that Jesus gave to us. Among his last words when he was dying on the cross was this address to John the disciple, where Jesus entrusted Mary to him, and John received her into his home. My dear young people, receive Mary in your lives, welcome her in your families and homes. I would like to suggest 3 ways on how to develop an authentic and personal relationship with Mary. First, get to know who Mary is. Read the scriptural passages in the Gospels of Matthew, Luke and John, where we will get to know Mary of Nazareth. Second, entrust yourselves to Mary. Consider her your mother and most faithful friend. When we get to know Mary, we will see that many of the issues that we face in our lives were issues that she herself also faced, so she understands us. And third, follow Mary because she is the perfect example of discipleship and obedience to the will of God. Once again, happy Feast of Mary, Help of Christians, and God bless us all.